So welcome to today's yin practice, and we have a nice, well-balanced class with, again, a little focus on this water element that we've been touching base on through the last few classes. So we're going to come to standing today to begin, and bring a block with you. So bring a block with you and place it right between your inner thighs. And then feel your feet on your mat. Close your eyes or take a really soft gaze. Lift your toes and then replant. See if you can spread out those toes as you replant them. It comes with a bit of practice. And notice with the block between your legs, it begins to engage your inner thighs, and you become very aware of that engagement through the inner thighs into the pelvic floor. So draw your pelvic floor up and in, slight tuck of the tailbone directing down towards the mat. And as we're standing here setting up in our mountain pose, feel length in your spine. So imagine I'm pulling a string from your crown up to the ceiling. Rib cage lifts away from your hip points. And then your shoulders softly roll up and down, sliding those shoulder blades down your back. Just feel the energy here in your mountain pose and that energetic connection in your inner thighs. And that's where your kidney meridian runs through the inner thighs. And notice your breath here. Tap into that soft breath as it enters, filling up. Maybe noticing where your breath is entering today. If it's in the chest, can you deepen the breath into the rib cage, into the low belly? Nice. Blink your eyes open. Take the block and remove it. Just place it down on the floor. Bring your feet a little bit wider, about shoulders distance apart. We're going to begin that tapping motion, knocking on the door of life. So just swinging your arms around your body. And as you do, bring just a little buoyancy in your knees, and you'll feel your hand tap on your low back as you swing. And allow the heel to lift up as you move to the left. The right heel will lift up as you move to the right. The left heel will softly lift up, and continue at your own pace. So this tapping on the low back, of course, the area of our kidneys and the adrenal glands as well. And this little bit of motion, also just kind of bringing some energy into all areas of our body. This comes from Qigong, this movement. And come to stillness. And now make gentle fists with your hands and just pat on that area of your low back. A little tapping on the low back. And make circular motions with the hands. Just lots of love in around the low back, kidney area. Hi, Sharon. We're using blocks, bolster, strap today. Tapping on the low back. And then come to stillness, come back to that mountain posture. And close your eyes and notice the sensations. Just experience what's happening within. Heart rate elevated slightly, warmth, energy, maybe some buzzing feeling around that low back. Wonderful. Blink your eyes open and make your way down to your mat We're going to set up for child's pose for our first yin posture. Let's bring our knees together and we're going to tuck our toes for child's today for the first phase of child. So tucking toes. And then if you need any props to support yourself in child's, maybe a blanket right in behind the knees, creates a little space for the knees, that feels good. Or a blanket or block between the bum and the heels, that also feels good. So either support that you may need, making your way down to the mat, forehead comes down, then reach your arms forward. And now bring your arms over to the left. So walk your hands to the left side of the mat. And we're going to take child's with this slight twist, opening up in the right side of the body as well. So as we hold here in this twist, opening up the bottoms of our feet, where a lot of energetic meridians begin, and also just bringing energy, flexibility to our feet, feeling the breath as you're holding in child's, feeling the belly against the thighs. And as you're holding in this twist, energetically draw that right hip away from the right fingertips. Just bring your mind's eye to that place in your body. And feel how that opens, lengthens down the side. Feeling the breath in the low back, in the front, with every inhale, feeling the belly compress against those thighs. And also feeling the breath in the sides and very much in the rib cage on the right here. Staying with that. We only have about another minute or so before we get to untuck those toes. So stay with it. And this water element, as we've talked about other weeks, it's connected with winter time and very much with going inward. So poses like this where we're really drawn into our bodies help us go inward. Very introspective. And now on your next inhale, bend your right elbow, lift your head up, place your head in your right hand, and then press into your left hand to just take a little bit more of a twist here. Head rests in your right hand, pushing into the left. And come back to center, walk your hands back to center. Lift up off your toes, untuck, pat out your feet. Good job. And then settling back down onto your feet. This time your feet are flat on the mat and walking your hands over to the right this time. Settling on down. And once again, imagining that left hip drawing back just slightly to lengthen through the left rib cage all the way up through
the side, through the armpit, the shoulder. You may feel this all the way down through the elbow, maybe even into the hand. And so, as we're holding in this very safe space, child's pose, where we really tune into our own internal world, knowing that we're also nourishing this water element through these cold winter months, breathing into the low back and the kidneys. Bringing blood flow and conscious awareness to these areas of our body. Compression in the front of the belly, compressing the internal organs, including the urinary bladder, which is the other element or the other organ connected with the water element. And interesting, as we're in yin today, the kidney is the most yin organ. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's considered the most yin organ. And then the bladder is the yang to that yin. So the organs are paired, and the kidney is the most yin. And now on your next inhale, lift your head up. Bend your right elbow, bend your left elbow, place your head in your left hand, press into your right hand just enough to open up into that twist on this side. So just a little squeeze to the right. Feel it all through the back of the waist. And that's our time. Exhale, come back through center. Just come up to a soft kneeling position. Take a couple breaths here and observe. Let the prana move through your body. And then we'll shift down to our seat and come to the center of our mat, bringing perhaps blocks and bolster with us, whatever might suit you for this next posture. So bringing our legs into a wide V. And then bend your right foot and bring your right sole to your inner thigh. And this pose, sometimes I teach this one with a strap where we loop the strap around our foot. You can do that. I want to give you an alternative today. So you can loop the strap over your left foot and use it to help bring some tension as you twist over the left foot. But I've been playing around with using the bolster in this pose, and I quite enjoy it. It's a little more restorative. So if you bring the bolster to the left side of your left leg, and as you twist over that left leg, bringing your forehead to the bolster so that it can support you as you hold in this extended leg twist. So see what you kind of want to settle in with here today. And then we'll begin our time. And I'm going to play some music now too for these longer holds. set up really nicely there. Oh, sink on in, go inside, feel the sensations as they come up in the posture. Feeling breath in that back right side of your body. As we're twisting, you feel some tension in that right lower back. Really breathe into that area. As if you could draw breath in through the low back. If you're maybe holding tension in your arm or shoulder in the twist, and release that. Surrender to the twist. Remind your body to soften in the shoulder, in the face. Quote says, smiling is face yoga. And I do notice when I smile during exercise or yoga, I do feel better. It seems so hokey, but there is a connection. Here, stay with that inhale and exhale. And now on your next inhale, follow that breath through the nose, all the way down into the rib cage and the low belly. Fill up in the low belly. And exhale. And begin to slowly walk your torso, your head back, coming up very slowly, noticing as you come back to center. Extend that right leg again, both legs extended. And take a minute to feel any sensations that have come up. And now bringing the bolster to the right side if you used it on the left, bending the left leg, bringing the left sole into the right thigh. Just taking a minute to set up, and if it feels like you're hanging back in the pose, if you feel like you're curving, then bring a blanket just under your seat to prop up your pelvis. That can be very helpful. And if you use the strap on the other side, bring that with you. So turning over that right leg, taking a hold of the outside of the right calf, shin, or wherever you can hold. You might be taking a hold of your foot. It's a deep, deep twist, wherever feels like that first edge for you, right? That we talk about all the time. In yin, we come to our first edge of resistance, and then we hold and maintain that stillness for the duration of the posture. And in this posture, we're also opening up in the back line of the leg and the inner thigh. So again, both the urinary bladder and kidney meridians. And anytime we target these areas through tension, through stretching, compression, we are bringing energy to the meridians, to the energy of the body, and nourishing the associated organs. Wherever you're feeling that greatest area of tension, of stress, direct the breath there. And when the mind is wandering, as it does, come back to any sensations in the body. Stick with the breath. Follow sounds in the room. These cues will help you stay present. A reminder to soften through the shoulders, release unnecessary tension. As I mentioned in, I think it was last week's class, some other ways that we can contribute to nourishing these organs through the winter and nourishing this water element. One of those things is consistency of practices. So our consistency of movement, of yoga, of yin, especially of yin during this time. And on our next inhale, follow the breath. Feel it fill up in the chest, in the low belly. Fill up and exhale. Begin to walk the hands back up the leg, walk the torso up, head over heart, heart over pelvis. Extend that left leg and just notice sensations. So that consistency of your movement, if you walk every day or doing your yoga practice, which you are all so consistent, you show up here all the time, that's such a valuable component this time of year, such a valuable contribution. Very nice. And our next posture, we are using the strap and the bolster and the blocks. It's a full meal deal here. So bring everything very close and bring the bolster behind your back. This is going to prop up our chest. Bring the blocks outside your knees, your legs, and bring the strap into a big loop. Okay, hopefully you have a strap that's big enough. If not, you can do this pose without the strap. Bring it over your body. Strap comes over your body, and then slide it down around, past your low back, down around your hip area, and then the strap comes between your knees. Bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet very close to your groin, and then the strap comes around the outside of your feet. So you may have to take a couple of minutes and fidget around here. So strap goes low hips through the insides of the legs, around the outside of the feet. And then we usually bring the strap where it's tied fairly close to the hips so that you can tighten it a little bit if you want. Exactly, yeah. And then have the blocks right underneath the outside of your knees, your thighs for some support so that you're not muscling in the posture. And then we enjoy blissing out in this Supta Baddha Konasana shape, coming down onto the bolster. And if you need some support for your neck, then take your blanket, roll it up, and tuck it underneath your neck. That can feel very nice here as well. Whoops. So take the first 30 seconds or so and fidget around, find your spot here. Having the strap is very nice. It feels very contained, right? Like we're really supported in the posture. And you don't want it pulling on your low back, so that's why you snuggle it down around your hips. And then the support under your knees, make it extra, extra cozy. And then your arms can come out to the side at a T, or maybe in cactus goalpost, or simply very soft down by the side of your body, okay? Explore what is working for you today, and we'll settle into this one for a few minutes. I'll turn on the music again because we're going to be here for a little while. Opening up through the inner groin once again, that kidney channel, but we're also opening through the chest. And enjoying this supported back bend too. So having a little bit of lift in the low back with the bolster supporting the organs around that area of your body. So we're supporting the kidneys here in a time when maybe we're feeling a little drained, right? In the winter, sometimes we can feel a bit drained. And this is a nice way to nourish through support. That's maybe something we can all take with us outside the class today. Nourish through support. How often do we nourish ourselves from support from others, support that we can give ourselves in our day-to-day living? And I'm just going to start the music, and just one final reminder to stay with the breath as you hold here. Notice the belly rise and fall, and maybe soften in around the jaw and the eyes. Let everything give way into the props, into the bolster. Change of music. Sometimes it's just not quite right. There we go. begin to exit the pose, but please listen to my cues. Stay in the posture where you are right now. Deepen your breath. Take a nice full inhale. And on your exhale, begin to draw your arms closer to your body, coming down, down, down towards your knees, and slipping either the loop, releasing the loop on that side by your hip to loosen the strap, or if it's not accessible to you, draw your knees a little closer to your body, your feet a little closer to slide one foot out, and then the other. And extending your legs long and noticing after that posture, we're still on the bolster right now. Just notice how the legs feel after releasing. We're in that one longer than we normally hold most yin postures in my class. We're in that one for over 5 minutes. And now roll off the bolster to one side, just enough to remove it, and come back down to the mat. And you can remove the strap as well, slip it off your body, either up over your head or over your feet. Come all the way back down onto your backs. And notice your back body. We're going to take another couple of yin postures before Shavasana, but before we move into our next yin posture, let's give our low back some love. So bending both knees and placing your feet on the mat, drawing one knee and then the other in towards our belly, holding in front of the knees, and squeezing those knees in towards the chest gently. And then rocking left and right, massaging out that low back, noticing any sticky, stiff spots. And when you find a juicy one, hang out there and roll on it, pulsing your knees in around your body, just pulsing those knees towards your body and massaging out those areas. And if you're like me, you likely have more than one spot. More than one indeed. So continue to explore. Find another area that you want to give a little love to. Roll out, hug your knees in. So I put one of my yoga classes on YouTube, and Joey was cool with me doing that. And I sent it to a friend who's really having a hard time with the idea of yin for an hour. She said, oh my gosh, it's an hour. How can I be still for that long? You guys are real pros at this. And then bring your feet back down to the mat and reach for your block. Hopefully it's pretty close to you. And press into your feet, lift your hips up, slide that block in under your hips, right at your sacrum, not the low back, so lower down. Situate, wriggle around, and then extend the left leg long, feeling a nice opening in the front of the left thigh and hip. Phase 2 option, of course, always an option. Lift that right knee and draw it towards your chest. And the closer you bring that right knee in, the more you'll feel that opening in the front of the left thigh, and especially in the hip flexors. So we're gonna hold this next posture now and
reminder to, again, not go to that deepest edge, right? If we've been doing yoga for many years, sometimes we go to like, maybe out of a scale from 1 to 10, we maybe go to 7 or 8. So see if you can train yourself here to ease off and maybe go to about a 3 or 4. And settle in there. And we don't need to engage that left leg, so you don't need to tighten the quad. Allow the leg to be soft. Feeling that sacrum heavy in the block. Allow that prop to take the weight of your sacrum, of your hips, shoulders sinking in to the mat. And we're about to exit out of the posture. Before we do, let's rotate that right ankle. So rotating the foot in one direction, mobilizing that ankle, and then in the other direction. And then softly and slowly returning the right foot to the mat. Bend the left knee, place the left foot on the mat. Extend the right leg long now. And lifting the left foot up and taking a hold behind the knee or in front of the shin. And assessing that degree where you are from 1 to 10. Maybe ease off, and one side may be much tighter too, right? So just notice. And honor where you are on that side. Honor where you are today. Yes, so my friend said, oh my gosh, an hour of yin postures. She does yoga all the time, but flow yoga. And I said, well, maybe start with half hour. Do a half hour. Do some of the poses, get used to it. Because it definitely is that challenge of being still and really being connected to those sensations that are coming up in your body, staying with the breath. Also like the time my youngest said to me, Mommy, don't you find that boring? I said, that's kind of part of the process, right? That's part of it, is being with the boring. We're so overstimulated in our world right now. We're so used to being pulled in different directions and having our attention span shortened and shortened. We're almost there. So again, let's rotate that left ankle now, turning the foot in circles in one direction. Imagine painting a circle with your big toe on the wall away from you, and then in the other direction. I'm not sure I'd want to see my painting. I'm not the best painter with my hands, so. And coming to stillness and releasing that foot, returning the left foot to the mat,
And bending the right foot, or right knee again, and right foot to the mat. And now the next phase of this posture, couple of options. Either you extend both legs long, and we have lots of opening in the front of the hips here and the entire front line of the body, and compression in the low back. But if it's too much compression in the low back, please bring your feet back to the mat and maybe bring them as wide as the mat and let the knees drop in for some decompression of the low back and a softer version. So you choose what's suiting you today, and your arms can come out to the side again in at shoulder height in a T, or maybe in cactus. Now that our arms are free, we can open up a little bit here. We'll take a couple of minutes in this version, or this phase of the posture. Respecting that low back. If your legs are extended and you're feeling like it's pinching in the low back, then return to bent knees, feet wide as the mat, knees together. To shift out of this posture. If your legs are extended, bend one knee, place foot on mat. Bend the other knee, place foot on mat. If your knees are together, just begin to open your knees and bring your feet back to about hips distance apart. And now, very mindfully, press into your feet, lift your hips, slide that block out and away, and slowly roll your spine down to the mat. And observe that shift of energy. So we were on that prop for a little while, and you may notice that sort of dull ache around the low spine, the hips. So when we've been in a posture for a long time, the tissues have really opened up, and we just respect that by going slow, coming out of it, and giving our body some time to rebound. Feeling the sacrum spread on the mat. Widen and spread, hips heavy, shoulders heavy. And now bring your feet wide as the mat once again, and our arms out to the side in a T. And begin to drop the knees down to the left, very slowly. We're going to do just a brief series of somatic movement here, and knees over to the right. Moving slowly. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the left. Back to center. And now this time, allow your head to move in the opposite direction. So knees down to the right, head looks to the left. And the left hip will lift off the mat slightly. Inhale back to center slowly. Knees slowly come down to the left, head looks to the right, hips lift off on the right. Back to center, and now really go within, really go into your internal world here. Feeling the motion, hearing the sounds as your head moves back to center, over to the right, feet or knees down to the left. Let's do a couple more times on each side. Knees back to center, head through center, hearing the head move. Knees down to the right, head to the left. And last time, head through center, knees through center, knees down to the left, head to the right. Hearing the sound of your skull moving on the mat. Coming back through center. And pause. And now extending your left leg long, right leg long. Bringing your arms down by your side. Palms facing up. Press into your elbows, lift your chest, settle your shoulder blades back on the mat, letting those feet fall open. Bringing your awareness to your sacrum, your hips once again, feeling them sink into the mat. Bring your awareness to your fingertips. Feel that slight hum of energy around your fingertips. Sense and feel. As you slip into Shavasana, softening around the forehead and the eyes, allowing that jaw to open, teeth part, quiet mind, quiet body, Shavasana. Staying where you are, not moving. Don't pop up to seated just yet. Just stay in Shavasana. Notice how you're feeling at the end of class. And staying with this notion of nourishing this yin side of your energy, of your body, of your practice. Nourishing through the winter months, this water element. And now beginning to make some small movements, opening, closing the hands, rolling the feet around the ankles. And then something a little different coming out of Shavasana today. Reaching your arms overhead and beginning to stretch that right heel away from the right hand, really opening up through the right hip, right side of the body. And then taking it to the left side, reaching that right heel towards the wall away from you. Right hand reaches and extends. And one more time, let's go to, I think I said right twice, apologies. Take it to the right heel extends from the right hand. If you did the right side twice before, just go ahead and do the left side twice. Extending the left heel away from the left hand. I think I was so caught up in my blissful Shavasana state here. And now stretching both long, pointing the toes, taking a really nice big body stretch, arching the back. Fill up with breath and exhale and roll over to your left side, the yin side of your body. In fetal head propped on your left arm or hand. Give your body a moment or two here to adjust before we push up. And as you begin to slowly push up, seeing if you can once again stay within, maybe close the eyes, push up. Continue to keep your eyes closed as you adjust your position and come to that seated posture once again. Bringing your hands to your knees for a moment, extending with the crown, feeling length in the crown, elongating that spine from the tailbone all the way up to the crown, length, openness, nourishing. And bring your hands together, heart center in prayer. Taking one inhale and exhale, letting it go through the mouth. Wonderful job today, guys. Thank you for joining online in studio. Wishing you a beautiful day ahead, and we'll see you next week. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hope you feel good after class. And as always, if you feel a little sore later, hop into an Epsom bath. It's my big tip.